Tom Vasel.
I'm Zee Garcia.
These guys are crazy. I'm Sam Healey. How you doing, folks?
Maybe we drank a Coca-Cola. We didn't. Oh, Sprite Zero, never mind.
Oh, yeah, Sprite Zero, because that thing's just brimming with caffeine, let me tell you.
Today we're here to talk about top 10, what did I call this list? I don't remember now.
Exceptions to the rule.
Exceptions to the rule. These are games that we normally don't like, that style game, that theming of the game, but for some reason we liked this game. And before we start recording here, I told these guys, I feel like there's games on this list I've missed. Because I know
Probably
that I'll
so.
play a game once in a while and be like, all right, fine, I'll try it. And then I'm like, oh, that was pretty good. And I normally don't like that kind of game.
Right.
So like for Z, I can already predict he'll have a game that might be long on his list because he normally doesn't like long games.
And that is the one game I immediately put on the list and then sat there and thought and searched and looked up and down my games and got online. This is one of the hardest top 10 lists I've ever put together. Because every time I thought
because you don't stray from what you don't like, you mean?
maybe I'm just like, oh, I like that. I like that fine. I had a really hard time
There wasn't
getting
even
to
like
10.
a theme you don't normally like that. Because for me, themes, I could have done it just on themes.
Yeah, really?
Like I normally don't like that theme.
I went with more categories of games, because
Yeah,
I
me
usually don't
too.
like categories more than... Because I try to, I'm not always very good at it, but I try to judge a game by itself without any other thing coming into it, but...
Judge games the way I want.
Okay.
I'm a pre-judger.
Okay.
So he's a bigot. He's a board game bigot.
That is a new variety show we're starting, actually. Board game
How did I
bigot.
get today?
BGB.
It seems like all these top 10 lists I get board game bigots. Come on.
All right. So here we go.
Okay, so the way I ordered my list, I ordered them from how much I thought I would not like the game to how much I did like it. And the biggest difference was my number one.
Yeah, I just got 10,
Randomly threw them out there?
No, I just got 10 games, and then those 10 games are in least liked to most liked.
Oh, okay.
And I ordered mine numerically.
Let's get going.
Number 10.
All right, my number 10. I am not a huge fan, not even close, of party games. You put almost any other kind of game on the table, and I would more than likely choose that one over party games. So there's really no reason for me to enjoy Telestrations, because I really don't enjoy party games. And on top of that, I'm not that good of a drawer either. I can't draw very well.
Witness again?
Especially with dry erase markers on a plastic, board. It just doesn't work well. So there's really no reason for me to enjoy this game, but I really do enjoy it. It's very fun. It's one of the few party games that I will even think about playing. So this was one of the ones where it was like, yeah, that's probably going to be on the list. It went immediately came to mind when I was brainstorming for this list. So Telestrations is my number 10.
Now, my number 10 would have been Kickstarted. Had Kickstarter existed when it came out, I don't know, over a decade ago. And this was based on theme. And this theme actually today might interest me more than when it came out. But when it came out, I wasn't interested at all. And that's Garden Competition. Garden Competition.
A what?
Garden Competition.
Garden, like a garden, like outside? Okay.
Yes, like you want to have a better garden than your neighbors.
Okay.
And so you would make money by cutting grass with your neighbors. And then you were planting different flowers, and then weeds would show up. And then the weeds would spread into your neighbor's garden. It was a small self-published game, and I think you hated it.
I don't think.
Yeah, because...
Like, this game is actually not bringing up a picture in my head. I might not know this game.
You probably don't. This is one, actually, I know an obscure game Z doesn't. Woohoo!
Yeah, I'll give you a high
because
five
it's
for
a
that.
horrible game.
No, I liked it.
probably.
You didn't like the theme at all.
I didn't. It's a stupid
I did not
thing.
think I would be a big fan of having a gardening competition with someone else, but it worked out pretty well. I really liked the game. I love the fact that you could, you would plant weeds on this side, and they might spread over to your yard. That was an interesting idea.
Okay.
And different flowers needed to be in sunlight, and it's a very Euro-y style game, but it was a pretty fun game. It's probably impossible to find at this point, I would guess. But
It's a good thing.
if you've designed Garden Competition, email me. We'll talk.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's,
I don't even know what that means.
oh boy, oh boy. Okay, my number
Martha
10,
Stewart over here.
let's get snooty here.
Oh,
I
here we
do
go.
not like flicking games, like flick 'em up, Like Pitch Car is okay for me.
I can't even talk to you.
But I really like Crokinole.
What?
You know, Crokinole.
The crocodile game.
No.
Crokinole?
Crokinole, yeah.
It's not crokinole.
What did I say?
You said crokinole.
Crokinole.
Crokinole, yes.
Yeah.
There's
I'm
a
sorry,
big difference.
It's basically, it's a flicking game. You have a big circle, the board, you flick into the center, or, you try to flick the opponent's pieces off of the board, and once everyone shot, then you score that up. It's a very simple game, and it is all flicking. That's all it is. Like, there's nothing else in this game. But I think that's what I like about it, the simplicity, the purity of the design.
How is Pitch Car not pure?
It is. It's just, there's all like okay, if you flick someone off the board, they come back on the edge there, and if you flick over and your card flips over, then there's a couple.
Wow, there's 2 extra rules. I'm sorry.
Again, yeah, that's just 2. I know that, but that's those 2 extra rules are the ones that make me want to pick Crokinole over that. Just like the what's the fantasy one where you are basically playing Crokinole but with a Catacombs? That's the one. Yeah, that I don't like all those extra rules. All the extra fluff on top. This is one instance where the more they stripped away from the design, the happier I was, because again, I don't like flicking games, but I like it here.
I can see what you're saying. I mean, but I think that Pitch Car and Crokinole are much closer in what you're actually doing than you're giving them.
Yes, yeah.
I can see what you're saying, too.
The difference for me is that Pitch Car is actually fun and Crokinole isn't.
No,
Pitch Car has a better goal, I'll give you that. It's like you are trying to win a race.
Yeah, it's
in
more
Crokinole,
fun.
you're scoring points, right? I get that.
It's more fun.
But I just like that, sitting around the table, trying to get skill shots, and I don't know, it appeals to me.
I like it too. I especially like the fact that it has a 1 cheek rule. No, it does. It's in the rule. It says the 1 cheek rule.
No, not that
Not
cheap.
that cheek. But the thing is, you're just following. You mentioned Snooty at the beginning, and there's so many people I met who are like, "Oh, flicking game? Well, I never." And then it's like Crokinole. They're like, "Oh, well, this one's okay."
That's why I said it. I get it.
There's a lot of people who
I'm
like
not
that.
snooty about it, I hope, but I do like this one better.
All right.
It's my number 10, Crokinole.
Number 9.
All right. My number 9 is probably objectively a bad game.
This list is very strange right off the
Why
bat.
isn't your 10 then instead of your 9?
Because I like this game, but
But I also hate
I
it.
hate take that games usually for the most part. I hate games where you just play good cards in yourself and bad cards in other people. But I like this one for whatever reason, and that's Killer Bunnies and the Quest for the Magic Carrot.
Oh, this is like top 10 embarrassing admissions list.
Yeah, this is
suddenly.
like your guilty pleasures list, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's kind of the same thing, right? I mean, I shouldn't like this game, but I do. It has this whole a card that hurts somebody. You. This card helps me. But I love the artwork. I love the in jokes. And I've tried for a long time to justify in my mind why I like this and I don't like Munchkin. Because there's 6 of one and a half dozen of the other. I mean, I feel like I'm a part of one of these anonymous meetings now.
I know. Well, thank you when you're done. Go ahead. Are you done?
No, but you know what? I still enjoy the game. I played the follow-up Killer Bunny games. I don't really like them that much. But this one, I enjoy. I like the different weapons that are going on. I love the fact that you're just basically brutally murdering
Isn't this
each
the one
other.
that at the end of the game you like roll a die to determine who wins?
Yeah, essentially, as the game progresses, you get carrots. There's like 16, 20 carrots, whatever. And at the end of the game, you will randomly draw one of those carrots to see who wins. So if I have 7 carrots and Z has 1, I will likely win. But you could still win. And that's what drives people crazy. Although I like that because it means you're always in the game. Again, I'm not justifying my choice, just saying it's here.
Thank you, Tom, for sharing.
Thank you, Tom.
My number 9, I never enjoy games with screen captures from TV or movie. I actually looked through my collection, and I own 1 game which has screen caps from any
And is
TV
it
or
this
movie,
one?
and it's this game.
Wow, wait, hang on. Let me try to guess this one. It can't be Battlestar Galactica because you got rid of that one.
I did, and that was the only other one I think I ever owned.
Homeland?
Because I really hate
No, he
that.
like
No,
Homeland.
don't
Like
never
Homeland?
played it actually.
You never played it, okay.
It's minor, okay? The screen caps are minor. It's only on a few cards.
They're minors?
Oh.
They're not
Wait,
minors.
screen caps of minors? What?
Minors, not minors.
I don't know.
Star Trek Panic.
Oh. Ugh.
Star Trek Panic
Has screen
Okay.
captures in it?
has the
Yeah,
screen
it
caps
does.
of the actors from the show on the character cards, and then screen caps on the missions, right?
All right.
And I hate that normally. It just
This is
makes
a really
the
good choice, though. I really like the screen caps, those screen caps. That's good. I applaud your choice
Thank
here.
you. It's the one clever one I think I made.
Should have saved it for number one.
I just really hate that typically. That look is very unappealing to me. But in this game, it doesn't bother me. It kind of gets me into that silly mood of the old TV show of, going down and doing some crazy, like, look at that thing. It's clearly a pizza monster, but they're not calling it that.
It's probably you probably don't mind it because of just what you stated. There's screen caps, but there aren't a lot of them, and
partly it.
they're I guess you could say well used.
You don't mind
where
screen
they
caps
are
as much
used.
as he does.
No, I don't.
Battlestar
I
Galactica is
don't.
full of them for
But
sure.
there are some games on my list that I usually don't like those kinds of games, but it's because this game doesn't overstep that boundary
Sure.
wherever it is. So that's probably why.
And I think it adds to the vibe of it feeling like going on old space missions. It helps that vibe,
Yeah,
in this game. So anyway, that's my number 9, Star Trek Panic.
All right, my number 9 is I'm really not good with trivia games. I don't really enjoy trivia games a lot. Now, Star Wars trivia, I enjoy it just because I'm good at it. Probably not the best. Many of you will probably whoop me at it, but I still enjoy it because it's Star Wars, not because it's a trivia
Yeah,
game.
but the problem with Star Trek trivia is the winner is
Star Wars
really the
trivia.
loser.
That was a thing I would say. Star Trek, the
Wow.
one with the Millennium Falcon.
No,
But this is
Anyway.
your pick, Star Trek.
with the Battlestar
Star-
Negative,
Oh.
negative. No, Wits and Wagers is actually my pick for
Edition.
trivia games. I usually don't like trivia games, but I like this one, and it's because it's not I guess you could say a true trivia game because it's not looking for necessarily a specific answer. You're just trying to get closest to that answer
right.
without going over. It's where those games that are looking for a very specific answer, and if you don't know that specific answer, then you've lost out on everything. Well, Wits and Wagers isn't like that, and that's what I enjoy about it. So that's why it made my list of exceptions to the rule. Wits and Wagers, my number 9.
Number 8.
I tend to really dislike games that are real-time activities, like real-time exercises. I mean, by that I mean the entire game is that, because I don't mind if it's a little bit, but the whole game in real time. However, Captain Sonar, I think, does that. Wait, this is a second take, so Sam's being silly. Captain Sonar, I think, does that in a very engaging way, and I think largely it's the theme. That theme where you are the crew of a sub trying to pinpoint and sink the other crew across the table from you really makes it something special and lets you buy into that whole why are we doing this in real time thing? Can I just take turns? This is annoying. And it buys into that and it lets you accept it. It lets me anyway embrace that whole concept. It's also simple. And I like that too, because I don't like a game that's complicated and in real time, because then you can't stop to ask questions. I hate that. I hate that whole concept of like, I have a question, play, do the, it's like, oh, this is annoying. I'd rather be doing something else. But Captain Sonar, I think, nailed it.
Now, the thing that I like about Captain Sonar is that each station that you play has a different feel to it. Mm-hmm. So your experience with the game will be different.
Excuse me.
Ooh. What was that? Goodness gracious. My goodness, you allergic to something, buddy? What is that? Anyway, the experience that you have with the game changes from station to station. That's what I really enjoy about it.
I agree with that.
All right, we're trying to be serious here.
Oh
Sam?
my goodness. Whew. All right, my number 8 is I'm usually not a kids game kind of player. I don't enjoy kids games because they're
Or kids.
Oh, I do enjoy kids, but the idea behind playing a kids game is that usually I'm playing a kids game not because I want to play it, it's because my kids want
You
to
are
play
humoring them.
it. Yes, and I'm humoring them. I'm going along with it.
You're laughing at your kids.
So Lupin Chewy, however, is a game that I really should not enjoy because it is a very
It's dumb. Just saying.
yes, it's dumb. It's dumb. You're literally, this is all you're doing.
You
To
sad
hit
man.
that thing to go up and down. And I didn't even enjoy Lupin Louie because I was like, this is such a stupid game.
Oh, but Lupin Chewy's okay.
But
Seriously,
Lupin
you could throw
Chewy
Chewbacca in almost anything and Sam would like it.
or the Falcon.
Party
and
game.
anything.
Chewbacca, apples to apples. I'm in.
That would be kind of fun.
That would be really
if they
stupid.
Were all like, yeah. Exactly.
Let me see
just
my
thinking the
choices.
same thing. Or
Like, who picked that? Who picked that?
yes. That's
The
exactly
worst
what it was.
variation of apples to apples ever.
But
Sounds like a
Lupin
skit.
Chewy is something that I will. You know, my son has to. My youngest, Aiden, he likes to play this game a lot. He loves smacking the stormtroopers and all this other kind of stuff. So he really enjoys the game. And I was actually really excited to get that the little extension thingy that the guy gave us at Origins.
Oh, yeah.
The little clips to make it a 6-player game because now my entire family can play at the same time. And so I was really excited about it. So this is one of the ones that immediately came to my mind thinking about this list. So my number 8, Lupin Chewy.
My number 8, I am not a fan of zombies much at all. When a game comes out and has a zombie theme, it automatically loses a couple points in my mind.
Black Plague.
No, but I was to say, there's a lot of zombie games that I
Zombie
like.
Dance one.
But my favorite one is Dead of Winter by a mile. Dead of Winter,
Okay.
you know, people were saying, "Oh, Tom, it's great. There's this, you know, that system in it, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah, but it's zombies again."
I don't know.
And so
They're like a background to the game, I think, is why you like it.
maybe, and that's what you've been saying when it's a minor thing.
I don't really call that a zombie game.
Yeah, but there's definitely zombies in it. I
That
mean, they're
is,
all
but
over
There
the
is,
place.
yeah, but it's not a zombie game. That's just. I mean,
But I think if you
at the
hate it-
fringe of that whole thing, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of zombie games I think are okay. There's some that I like, but this one I really, really enjoyed. And I looked at my top 100. There's not another zombie game in it. You know, if you go down farther,
Wow.
you might reach. What's that one? We're in Venice and we're defending ourselves.
That's the one I was thinking of. The
Carnival
zombie
Zombie.
dance.
Carnival Zombie,
Carnival
yeah.
Zombie, yeah.
And that one actually could also be an exception to the rule because that one has like super grotesque artwork, which I also hate, and yet. All right, we're very serious today. My number 8 is Dead of Winter.
Number 7.
I tend to not enjoy abstract games that play with more than 2 players. I think it loses something. I like the head-to-head aspect of an abstract game. But EKO, from Sit Down Games, is an abstract game. Definitely has, there's a theme there, but it's clearly abstract. Even the pieces, they did not put that much effort into making them look themed. And it plays 3-4 players. And it works really well. There's a lot of the same feelings that you get in a head-to-head abstract game that were kept in this 4-player and 3-player game. The being careful you don't set up an opponent, being tricky and seeing sort of long moves that your opponents hopefully missed. Moving now so that next turn you can make a really good move, doing something that seems doesn't seem shady, right? And so all these things I really enjoy. The game also has a level of complexity in the rules that I don't tend to like in abstract games. I like my abstract games to be very simple and the complexity to just be up here, right? And the moves you can make, but not the rules. And this game has a decent amount of rules. And so it definitely is outside of something I would enjoy, but I really like it. I think part of that is that it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful, beautiful production. Lots of nice chunky wooden pieces, attractive colors, nice board design. Even the cover of this game is really pretty. I don't know if you can remember it, but it's got that like half blue, half orange look.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've not played the game, but I know it looks nice.
It's a very, very cool game, and so that's I knew it was going to make my list. That is my number 7, Eco.
My number 7 is a crossover with Mr. Healey for pretty much the same reasons. I didn't think there'd be any crossovers on this
Wow.
list. And I'm also not a
Illustrations.
trivia fan.
Oh, okay.
No, I do like party games. What are you
Okay,
talking about?
that's true. Yeah.
But
You're not very good at drawing, though.
I like trivia a lot. If someone's asking trivia questions, I have fun, but trivia games for me are always ruined because there's one person who's like, I know everything.
Yeah.
And that could even be me in some groups, and so I won't.
Which is one of the reasons why I think me and you don't like America.
Any game where you're supposed to
The game.
any
America,
game that comes yes. Wow. Any game
These
where you
commies.
any game where you have that whole thing with the Trivial Pursuit, either you know it or you don't thing,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Because either you know it or you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so Wits and Wagers actually is the first in this one. Other games have built on this thing. There's other games that have come out since that have this, maybe you know close to the answer. But I picked Wits and Wagers because when it first came out, I was like, I heard about it. I was really like, a trivia game, let's sit down and play it. And then we played it, and I said, wow, this is something different. This is unique and interesting. It took trivia games, which I normally did not like, and I really enjoyed.
And it's very versatile, too, because you can play it with, we play with like 60, 70 people when we go to conventions.
And they've come out with different versions even.
Yeah,
you can pick the version you think is
It
going to work
plays
for you.
really kind of the same way. So it goes from just a handful of people on up to huge groups of people, and it really doesn't change.
Right, and you could have, obviously knowing things can help in this game, but sometimes someone will be like, say 200, and everyone's like, ah, and it's the right answer.
Yeah.
And I love those moments.
Right.
And I do want to say, before people jump in the comments and let me know, oh, no, America, the game is, you can get points for being close. I know, but not like Wits and Wagers where if I'm way off and I think I'll just bet on your answer and I can win.
Right.
You can't do that, okay?
Well,
You either know
you
it.
can go next to the person in America.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
what he's talking about.
Someone's going to be like, oh, you don't have to be right or wrong. I get that you, get it or you're next, but that's it.
With Wits and Wagers, you can bet on somebody that...
I don't have to know ever.
Right.
I can just be like, this guy's the smartest one in the room.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, they're both wrong about America. America is a great game and a great country.
I'm just saying, well, it is a great country, but the game leaves a lot to be desired.
But the
We
game
had
for
a
this
horrible
category
experience.
is Wits and Wagers. This list,
We're good.
Yeah,
fun.
we're
we're really, really not. All right, let's do it. What do you got?
So my number 7 is I like war games, but I don't like the war games that you probably thought of when I said the words war games together. I don't like those ones that have the little cardboard chits that you have to move around, and there's a stack of them, so you have to use a pair of tweezers and all this other kind of stuff and be really nice and cutesy with it.
Sam has a rule: no toys, no fun. It has to be minis.
Well, not necessarily, but yeah, there is a lot of truth to that. Doesn't have to be minis, but man, if you can give me some minis, that would be much, much, much better. And this list, this one is called Heroes of Normandy. I'll go ahead and put that out there for you. Now, this one, this one came about just a few days ago because we were talking about some other game that had just cardboard chits in it. A war game or something to that effect, and I said, no, I'm not really interested because it has cardboard chits in it. Well, and he immediately
Then I
brought
said-
up, he brought up, well, what about Heroes of Normandy? You like Heroes
right.
of Normandy, and so I was like, that's going on the list. So pretty much.
I was helping. That's all. I was
So that's why I like. I mean, the cardboard chits in Heroes of Normandy are actually more like tiles. They're
Right.
bigger. They have better artwork on them. They have clearer information on them. There's a lot of things. It's calling what Heroes of Normandy has cardboard chits is really
misnomer,
kind of
yeah.
a misnomer, yeah. But the same concept is there. There are tiles representing units instead of miniatures. So I get that. So it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's shoehorned in, but I think it's valid. But I usually don't like those kinds of games. I'd rather have miniatures in my war games. So my number 7, Heroes of Normandy.
Number 6.
All right, I'm going to pull a Z here. Now, Z is known for not liking games that are very long. And I really don't like games that are very long. I mean...
So, yeah.
But I mean, I have a much higher tolerance. This is 30 minutes and 26 seconds.
Lie.
But for me, when a game goes
40
past
minutes.
4 hours, it's kind of like, does this game really need to be this long? And so, also, when a game is overly complicated, I'm like, come on, can we streamline it? And so there's a lot of great games. I love Civilization games, but 7 Ages.
Okay, you're good.
7 Ages.
It was getting ready to give you a throat punch.
Oh, you thought I was going to say TI3?
Yeah.
No. No, but Seven Ages has this idiotically complex combat system. It has tiny little counters, which I hate.
Yes.
It has a paper map. Paper maps. You know, it's long, really long.
And this is like hours and hours and hours and hours
Yeah.
long.
Yeah,
right?
we're talking 7-8 hours, right? And that could be a short game of it.
It's like Twilight Imperium 3 without good components.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, but and then also some complexities to it. And you know what? I still really like it. I look at it like I should not like this. You know, and if you said, "Here's the sequel to Seven Ages," I'd be like, "Oh." What they fix. You know, like there's other games like in the same category, Civilization. You know, the original one. I'm not interested in that one whit. You know, these big war games with all these counters and guys are moving. I'm like, no, get away from me. But this is the kind of game that you could use tweezers in,
Wow.
and I still like it.
Wow.
7 Ages.
Is it me now?
It is you.
Okay. I am very well known for not enjoying programming games one bit.
You hate them.
I think I know what this is going to be because you might have recently spoken of it.
Go
ahead,
It's
go ahead.
probably not what you think it is.
Oh, okay,
because
go ahead.
This one kind of surprised me, actually, but it fits. It is definitely a programming game, but I think the way the programming works, I'm a little bit more savvy on. Mechs versus Minions.
Oh, so you can put it on a list, but I can't.
Right, because I'm not saying it's a one-hit wonder.
Spoilers.
Anyway,
I
I'm
thought
saying
you
that I
were-
usually don't like these kinds of games, but I do like this one. And part of it has to do with its very high component quality.
It's also cooperative, and you like
And
that.
it is also cooperative. That was going to be my next point. I usually don't like
Shut up.
regular programming games, but ones that have cooperative programming where we're all working towards the same goal and we're not trying to get in each other's way. We're not necessarily picking something that will cut somebody else off.
Right.
I enjoy those kinds of programming games, and so that's why Mechs versus Minions made my list.
Okay. My number 6, I don't tend to like dungeon crawl, corridor shooter kind of games, but this is one that Sam showed me, and I really enjoyed. And the more I've played it, the more I've enjoyed. Zombicide Black Plague is a fantastic design.
Wow.
It's a game that uses its theme in a cool way. It's got all those things I tend to shy away from. All of them. Complex characters, right? Like a bunch of abilities. Lots of movement rules for everything. Lots of like scenarios with varying rules depending on which scenario you're doing. So you gotta make sure you're doing all of the rules right and then all of the scenario rules right. But this game, I really like it. I don't know what it is. I've played it several times after we've played, and we played again. This is a game that I'm keeping, you know, and that's very rare for me to keep a game of this size and this style of game.
Very cool.
I don't know what it is about
I'm
it.
as surprised
but
as Z.
Have you
is.
tried regular Zombicide yet?
No.
No?
And I don't think I want to. I think the theme of this one is part of what I like about
Another
it.
thing that makes it different.
Yeah. So, Zombicide Black Plague is my number 6.
Cool.
Number 5.
My number 5. Now, I don't really like a whole lot of math in games. I just don't like it if I have to, like, at the
See?
end of every turn, like, have to add up a whole bunch of stuff to see how I'm doing. I'd rather just say, hey, there's my point total. That's what I have. That's how good I'm doing. I don't want to have to add a whole bunch of other stuff to get to that point.
Okay.
Power Grid, however, has a lot of that in there, and I really enjoy Power Grid. And I've thought a lot about this in the last few weeks because we also got the card game that came out,
Right.
which I'm going to be doing a review of. Well, it'll already be out by this time, but so I had to think about why do I enjoy Power Grid, and I think it's because Power Grid not only has the math is there, has to be done, but it has all this spatial stuff that's on the board where I'm spreading out and I'm trying to make sure all my cities have power and all that kind of stuff, and that's the part about Power Grid that I enjoy. but it has a whole lot of math in it. And I usually don't like games that do that, but I'm able to overlook that because of the fun that I have on the board
So when the
itself.
spatial stuff is gone, it's not as interesting?
So spoiler alert, you hate Power
possibly.
Grid the card game?
The review's already up!
Okay, yes.
Spoiler alert, you love it.
I did not like Power Grid, the card game, because it took away the one thing from Power Grid that I really, really, really enjoyed.
Okay.
And it
Board.
focused on the part
That
that
you
I
didn't
don't
like.
really
Right.
enjoy. So that is my number 5 Power Grid.
Is it me?
It is.
I do not tend to like games that have language on the cards in other languages.
Oh, okay. It's like, you only
know,
like
if it's-
symbols?
No. I mean, I don't mind if it's English writing on there, but like, there's a lot of people out there, and I have several friends who love getting the quirky games from some places from someplace else, and I like that too. But with language on the cards, and that's where I draw the line. I'm like, whoa, no, because I hate paste ups on cards,
Oh, okay.
and I hate having to explain to the players. This one means this. Oh, wait, here's something I printed out from the internet that tells you what all the cards are. I hate that,
I'm waiting to
right?
hear your exception here now.
The exception is the Pillars of the Earth, the card game, which you might not have heard about, but it came out in German. My copy is in German, and it's a trick-taking game. It's a very quirky, very unique trick-taking game, which has a few cards that have language on them. So it's not, again, if every card had language, I'd be like, no, sorry. But I put up with it because I like the game very much. I think it's very clever. It's the funny thing about it is that it's still a resource management game. You do what you do in Pillars of the Earth. You take lumber and stone and whatever, and you churn it for points. But you play a trick-taking game to sort of acquire those cards and acquire the builders and the mason and all the people that help you do those things. Again, it's kind of hard to imagine this thing as I'm explaining it, but I like it a lot, and I put up with it being in German because I like it that much. So my number 5 is The Pillars of the Earth, the card game.
I'm not a big fan of miniature games with complicated rule sets for the most part.
Hey,
or even
alright.
like non-complicated rule sets. Miniature games need to be fast and fun. I don't want to look at charts or... Charts are... I still don't like looking at charts. What I mean is, Warhammer 40K was like my limit of where I wanted to go. I didn't want to roll a die to hit something and then roll another die to see if I wounded the person, and then, all these die rolls. And yet, I still like Battlegrounds Fantasy Warfare. Now, Sam doesn't like this game because it doesn't have miniatures. It has cards that move around. I like that aspect a lot. That's one of the main reasons I think I like it more, because I don't have to put together miniatures and paint them. But it still has a fairly complex system in it. I constantly have to look in the rules. How does this, if I charge here, how does that work? Oh, I get extra dice here, and I roll dice. Normally, that sort of thing, I'm like, come on. Could they have made this simpler? Well, hopefully they can. I think they're working on the second edition now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that might be interesting. But even still...
Did I actually use miniatures this time?
Nope.
Oh, let it go.
Just saying.
I really like that aspect, and maybe because I like the fact that I have, like, in the drawer behind me, 15 armies.
Right.
Tons of armies. I think that makes that other stuff more bearable to me. But normally, when you say, okay, first roll to hit. Yeah. Now take out all the ones. Now roll to see if you wound. Okay, yeah. Now we're going to do armor checks. Like, oh, can I just roll a die? Sometimes that annoys me. In this game, it does do that sort of thing. It doesn't bother me. So that's Battlegrounds Fantasy Warfare.
Number 4.
All right, now my number 4 is a trick-taking game, and I usually like trick-taking games. Now, the thing that I don't like is when you take trick-taking and you twist it, and you convolute it, and you make it, well, it's a trick-taking game, but the trump will change if this person holds their tongue this way, and if that person farts, well, then Trump will be another color. And that's, come on.
I challenge someone out there to make a game that when someone farts, Trump changes.
I mean, it's just, I'm being hyperbolic, but you get the idea. It's just, if you're going to make a trick-taking game, make a trick-taking game. Don't try to, go off the deep end trying to make yours all that much different from something that's already out there. I understand that there's a push to do that, and you should try to differentiate your product as much as you can. But don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, and that's what I feel like sometimes trick-taking games, the newer
Okay.
ones that are coming
Okay.
out, are doing. They're taking that system and saying, well, so many games are like this, so let's just do something else. You got to be careful with that, because no longer is it a trick-taking game anymore.
Say a title.
I'm sorry. Been trying to be good about this, but
Well, this list is okay because we
you're
have to
good.
give intros.
Yeah,
in
we
this
try
list.
to
the
figure
Dwarf
out.
King is a trick-taking game that does have a little bit of twist to it.
Okay.
But
As
just
in-
a little bit of twist.
I think it's a little. I think there's a lot of twists in that
No,
game.
I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty.
Because it's like two big twists. It's like scoring is completely
I
different.
understand that, but how you play the game,
That's true.
it's play a card. All right, it's play a card. Sometimes, some of these trick-taking games is like, oh, well, I can play Trump, or, oh, no, I shouldn't play Trump. No, I should play this card, but if I play that card, then this is going to happen because of this stupid rule, and that's going to happen because of that stupid rule, so I should probably play this card, even though it's not the best card to play. And there's just so many convolutions that go
Okay.
through it.
Okay, I understand that.
If you go stray too far away from the trick-taking concept and try to add too many quirky rules into it, I'm done. I'm going to pass. Dwarf King has some of that, but not so much, and I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite trick-taking games that I like to play right now. That's my number 4, the Dwarf King.
All right. I do not like pasted on themes. I'm always speaking out against them, especially when it's very blatant. And I'm not usually a big fan of game that are multiplayer abstracts, like you said. But this one, it meets both those requirements, and that's Through the Desert. This is by Reiner Knizia.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, but look at all the cute camels. Okay, whatever. I want to eat that. They look like candy. They are delicious. They should make Through the Desert marshmallows. I'm telling you, people would buy them.
Yeah, but they'd be like $10 a bag.
Yeah, well, that's board games.
If you removed pieces from the board, I would do that. I eat them.
If you ate them
They don't come off the board. So.
through the desert, the person who makes the longest row gets to eat that row. I'm like, no, if you do that one more time, the stakes would be so much higher. Anyway, it's an abstract strategy game that is basically, it has a loose base on Go, which I do not like. Even though I think it's a great game, blah, blah, blah. And it's also moving around the board, but man, it's so simple, it's so easy. It's Knizia at his best. I don't normally like this style. It's like camels in the desert. Why am I going to this oasis? Why am I making these rings of camels? That doesn't make any thematic sense. That's stuff that usually just annoys me. And in this game, it doesn't. So has to be an exception. Through the Desert.
Cool. My number 4, I tend not to like games that have very loose turn structures. I don't like games where the rules will say, during the turn, you can play a card. When? At any time you feel like it. And someone else can play a card as soon as you play that card. And then someone goes, oh, I was going to play a card. Too bad, Timmy. I don't
So you're saying
like...
when it comes with rules for timing, that irritates you.
No, I like that. I don't like the games that say, do whatever you want on your turn. Okay?
I'm trying to think of one of these games, but all right, go
Like
ahead.
games that are just loose turn structures.
All
The
right.
one I do like is I'm the boss. I'm the boss. You do whatever you want. You are just wheeling and dealing with people in real time. You can play cards out of turn because there are no turns. You can play a card and then I'll play a card to mess with that card. And then this guy over here plays 3 cards and takes a turn away from you.
Are you actually playing cards out of turns if there are no turns?
Well, that's what I mean. What I don't like is that was philosophy right there at its finest. What I mean is I don't like games that don't have turns, that have that you just have a big phase of do whatever you want to, right?
Yeah, I don't like that. That's one of the things that I don't like about Pit.
Right. That
Where
style
everybody's
of
like
game.
yelling at each other and doing this. I'm like, I want to throw punch everybody.
I tend to not like that.
Today,
But in I'm the
I came
Boss,
a pit ended tragically when one man
4 men found brutally bruised. Brutally bruised.
in
Yeah.
their throat regions.
Anyway, I'm the boss. I think it does it right. I don't know what it is. It's that six action classic for me, and he just nailed it with allowing for that sort of crazy stuff. But it doesn't get out of hand in this game. It's fun. It remains active without becoming stupid, which is what I don't like. So I'm the boss is my number 4.
Number 3.
You know what? I'm a big proponent of increasing vocabulary. But when you use words no one else knows, only in a game to get points, not as much of a fan of that. Scrabble, yay, you know all those words no one else knows. Word games are fine, but when you have to know obscure words, not a big fan of that. So when someone says, a word game, I'm like, Paperback, though, turned that on its head for me. In Paperback, it mixed that with a deck-building game. And the deck-building game is decent, and the word-building game is decent, but put them together and it really worked well. Yes, you can still do that. Oh, I made the word noxious because it has an X in it or whatever. That's cool. You can still do that sort of thing, but the deck-building also kind of mitigates that, and I don't have to sit there and go, yay, you won because you were able to take those 7 tiles and make some word no one ever cares or uses except in Scrabble games.
Right.
I really am not a fan of Scrabble because I don't want to sit there. The person who's better at memorizing a dictionary wins. That does not necessarily happen in Paperback. You know, like my wife is way better at these word things than I am, but I can do the deck building part, and so I feel like we're at an even battle, and it just works well. And I might pick the J because it fits in words or because it has a really cool ability in the deck building thing.
Right.
Really cool game. There are some other word games I like, but for the most part, I'm like, Paperback is a game I really like. I love Paperback. Didn't think I'd say that about a word game.
Yeah, this was on my short list. Okay, my number 3, I don't typically like roll and move games, as I think most people would say, and I don't like the backgammon. The game itself of backgammon is just okay. You know, I'm not crazy about it. I've played it, but it's fine. Tatsu, however, is a game that is roll and move and is clearly derived from backgammon. And the more I play this game, the more I like it. It's sort of like playing backgammon where the pieces have special powers. You have like 3 tiers of them. And you're moving them around in a circle and they are capturing or knocking out your opponent's pieces or trapping your opponent's pieces. And that's basically it. And you do roll and move. But this game came out of nowhere. I really was thinking, this is not going to be something I'm really going to enjoy. Played it, enjoyed it. Like, I'm going to try that again. And it kept getting better for me. So this is one that is this high on the list, not just because I like it that much, but because it earned that place. I was so ready to dislike this game. And it's a keeper. So my number 3 is Tatsu.
My number 3, J24.
Battleship.
24.
Miss.
No, wait.
Oh, 36.
Hit.
Oh, 36.
Oh.
I don't really.
Battleship always has...
Hit. Bingo! Hit.
Bingo!
I know.
Battleship
He
always
said it
said-
twice. When he said it twice, I'm like, I already said you hit me. Stop rubbing it in.
Wait, is Battleship actually a form of bingo?
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of.
You never played those
Maybe.
two at the same time? That's fun.
You imagine?
That's a heck
You
of a
put
play.
your ships on the bingo
Good
field?
Yeah, you have like a call
You go
over there,
crash
and then
the
the guy
bingo
crosses.
party with your copy of Battleship.
So it's like opposite bingo, whereas your ships get hit, you're like, all right, I'm out. Suck my battleship.
There's a game there.
See, now it's your fault that I haven't said the name of the game yet.
Yeah, that's totally our fault. Sorry.
Augustus. Augustus is a game that I shouldn't like because at its core it is simply bingo. You have a guy that's calling out certain things, and he's flipping over tiles and saying, shields or soldiers and all this other kind of stuff, and everybody's listening to that and adding their workers kind of to their different provinces that you're trying to conquer. And once you fill up all of the little icons on one side of the thing, you can score that province.
Bingo.
And yeah, it's basically bingo. That's what it is. I should not like this game, but it is really fun, and I enjoy it a lot. I enjoyed it since I first played it, and about halfway through the game, I was like, I probably wasn't even halfway, but I was like, man, this is bingo.
Yeah.
I've been deceived.
Yeah, right? I just had that moment.
pretty
But
sure
I
I said it at the
really
beginning.
enjoyed it. I really had a great time playing it. And so I knew it was going to make this list. Number 3, Augustus, or The Rise of Augustus.
Number 2.
I typically hate very much having to play more than one character at the same time in a game because I like to be able to identify with whoever I am playing. However, in The Others, you do that sometimes, unless you're playing the baddies, right? You often will need to control 2 characters. And in that game, it does not bother me. And maybe it's because it's cooperative. Maybe it's because it's fairly simple to see the moves on the board.
I think you dropped your shoehorn over there on this side of the table.
What do you mean? Oh, you
No.
think I'm shoehorning this one in?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I hate
No, I just
games that you
understand
were doing
Descent
multiple people.
has that same cooperative thing to
He
it.
doesn't like Descent because of the fantasy theme.
Oh, yeah, okay, sorry.
Yeah, I guess so, right.
Carry on.
This one just does it for me. I don't know what it is, and that's one of the things. Again, it's also a big game. It's also a miniatures game. It's also a rules-heavy game. And so, yeah, there are several things why it's on the list. But the one that is mainly in my mind is, man, I hate to play more than one character. But, hey, in the others, I don't mind it. It's okay in that one. I don't know.
You know,
I mean,
you don't always have to play multiple characters.
you don't have to if you have enough people.
Yeah.
But the number of characters...
So Black Plague would fall into this category.
Yeah,
too, for you.
yeah, it would. That's right. So those two games. But in this one, I have an easier time doing that because in Black Plague, your characters ramp up the difficulty. Like you open up the new abilities, and once you have, if you have two people and they start ramping up, you got to be like, oh, I'm missing something.
Right.
I have that panic feeling like I know I'm not doing something. And in the others, I don't typically get that feeling. So I enjoy it. The others is my number 2.
My number 2, I already said earlier with my number 8, Loop and Chewy, that I don't really enjoy kids games. And this is another kids game, but it's also a flicking game. And I really don't enjoy flicking games that much either. I mean, I like Flick 'em Up, and I like Pitch Car. I like those kinds of games.
Pitch Car.
But it's not my favorite genre of games to play. So,
Crokinole.
no.
Oh.
No, don't enjoy that either. But Ice Cool is a really fun
okay.
flicking kids game that is a great time. And one of the main reasons I like this game is because I can play this competitively with my kids. Because sometimes that little wild flick that my son Aiden will put the right spin and it'll go through like 3 doors. And I'm like, what did you do? How in the world did you do that? And I'm sitting there trying to do that and I can't do it.
You're just like,
You know? And he's just like, right, exactly. So Ice Cool is one of those games that I just shouldn't really enjoy if I stay with my normal, what I like, what I don't like. But the way it plays out with my family and with other people, because a lot of people, every convention that I see this game at, a lot of people are playing it, and it's hot. So you should really check out Ice Cool.
It's hot.
Kind of,
Sorry.
you should really check it out.
you know, I just found out that Ice School is in a school, and it's high school instead of high school.
Oh, that's the theme of the game?
Yeah, so
Isn't it high school for penguins?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what it is. You
Oh, I
didn't
never.
know that?
I haven't played. I don't know.
I didn't know that. No.
You're a hall monitor. One person is the hall monitor.
Have you ever heard of the game? No. That does not. It's not an obvious thing.
The artwork in the boxes. One is a classroom, and one is a gym, and
No,
one
I
is
know
a
it's in a
cafeteria.
school. I know it's in a school. I didn't realize that Ice Cool was a play on words for high school. That's not that obvious.
It was very obvious first time I saw the game. So I don't know.
Nah,
Matt?
you can't prove that. All right, you know what I hate in games? I hate when they
Sam.
use.
Playing my games.
I hate when games use obscure terminology for stuff.
Oh, it's such a good one. That's a good one.
Like if this thing's called a Wumblejet, you know, but it's
It's
just
the
a
deck
pawn.
of cards.
And it's even
Draw
worse.
from the mother.
It's even worse if they decide to call the same thing when it's on 2 different sides of the table. So the game is Android Netrunner, right? Because Android Netrunner, you're like, why are you doing this to this game? Most of the time when games do that, I'm like, I'm out. I'm sorry, I'm not going to call it as a Weeble-Doozle, the whole game. It's the draw pile. It's the discard pile.
That's a good pick.
And Android Netrunner also, when I found out how complex a lot of these interactions were, that game was hard to learn. I mean, to the point where I had to go watch a video from Fantasy Flight, and I was like, okay, I think I have it. And so I was like, I'm out. I'm not getting, whatever, I'll play this, I won't like it. But it was really fun.
It's good, right?
It was
right.
really good. And so I was really surprised. Android Netrunner came out just a little bit after Magic the Gathering. People had been emailing me and saying, you got to try it. I was like, no. This game wasn't reprinted. I don't need to go retry this Netrunner. And when they made the Android Netrunner, okay, maybe it was good after all. So, my number 2, Android Netrunner.
finally, number 1.
All right, the dice of truth.
The dice of truth. Truthify me?
14.
14 as well. We go together like
15.
He's better than us.
But only slightly. We can
All
still
right,
feel
we'll
good
go-
about ourselves.
We'll
There's
go
no
down
loser?
the track.
There's 2 losers, huh?
Go down the track.
I know what his is.
Okay,
Start
what?
with you and come down this way.
Yours
What's-
is based on time, right? It's gotta be.
You should know what mine is.
I don't know. Mine is yes. I don't like long games, except this one game that I talk about.
And we bring up every time we talk
Every
about
time
it.
anybody's like, you only like games that are 20 minutes, right? I say, no, sir, you shut up. I enjoy Fury of Dracula.
Yes.
And so Fury of Dracula is my number 1. The game takes approximately 3 hours, I would say. 2.5, 3 hours.
2.5, 3
And I enjoy it. I think it's very engaging. I think what does it is that it's not static. That's the thing that gets me with longer games. If I'm doing the same stuff the first 20 minutes, let's say, as I am doing the last 20 minutes, that's not interesting for me. But in Fury of Dracula, you've got the hunt, which turns into the fighting, which turns into Dracula is wounded and on the run instead of hunting us. You know what I mean? It feels like a story, and I like that it develops sometimes differently, right? Like it won't always be the same story, but it is not linear in that way. Like, it's not the same stuff happening round after round till something, somebody gets 100 points and the game's over. I don't want to do that. But in this one, I like that it develops and takes me along for the ride. So I enjoy it. Fear of Dracula, 3rd edition especially, which is awesome, is my number 1.
All right. My number 1 is not that... It's not that common. I don't think you guys would even guess it. But I hate a lot of games that are Euro-y just to be Euro-y. I'm not a big fan of rondels. And if you told me there was a game that had a rondel that moved 4 other rondels, I'd be out right away.
Zolkin?
Oh,
And that's
Vulcan.
Shipyard.
What?
No, not Zolkin. Shipyard is from CG Games. And in Shipyard, you're building ships. And you need to get all these pieces on ships. And you need to get them over here. And you need to buy new ships. And you need to move the ships. And in this, there's a big rondel. Then there's these other little rondels that are moving too. There's like, I think, 4 rondels in the game. It's the very height of Euro-iness. And I really, really like it. I was really surprised. Now, maybe it's because the theme actually works a little. Like when you put things on the ship, you actually put them in the different spots in the ships.
Okay.
And you can make these big, long ships. But it's a fairly heavy Euro, and it like hits everything that I would not like about Euros. But I really enjoy Shipyard. So.
Okay. So my number 1 is I really dislike. Well, I don't really dislike them. I just don't have any interest in them. Abstract games. I usually like to have games that are, I don't know, have a look to them, have a feel to them, have a soul, something. And abstract games just usually don't have any of that. They're just all about, can I outthink my opponent? And that usually isn't very fun to me. But with Kodinka is a game that I just was introduced to earlier this year at UKGE.
You are like a Kodinka.
I really enjoyed it.
He's
I
ringing
really
that
enjoyed
bell,
it.
man.
I really enjoyed it, and I guess it stands out for me because it's one of those abstract. It's an abstract game.
It is.
I usually don't like abstract games. I got it, but this one just clicks. I don't know. It's probably the simplicity of it that brings it to the forefront for me because I don't like brain burning games. I don't like games that, feel like I'm doing homework. And that's what usually abstract games feel like for me. This one doesn't. It's very quick, and I usually like playing it with just 2 players. 3, I can enjoy it. 4 is too much.
Like
too
too
much.
random?
Yes, because you have 3 other people that you have to
Messing with
sit and
your-
try, and it's messing up the board 3 other times rather than just 2 or 1.
Sure.
So I would definitely ask you to try it out with 2 or 3 players. Don't try it with 4 to begin with.
I thought he was going to say Onitama, but
No, not Onitama. Kodinka is a game that I enjoy a smidge better than Onitama because it has a higher player count.
here's the deal, folks. We'd love to hear from you on this one. Like, what are, you say, I normally dislike this theme or this mechanism or this style of game, but I like this one because I'm always curious about those things. You know, what makes a specific game stand out from the rest?
Right.
This is obviously a very personal list to each person because I love party games, for example, so I didn't even pick anything from the party game category because I like them all usually. Or I tend to like them at least. Maybe someday we'll do the opposite where I normally like this kind of game, but this one.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Exceptions to the rule, part 2.
That's cool.
We will do that someday. All right, anyway, until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Zee Garcia. Thank you very much.
Sam Healey. See you on the flip side, y'all.